Philip, do you believe that there is good art and bad art?
You know, we spend a lot of our time in the world of arts challenged as artists by what is good art and what is junk, what is trash. And in the world in which we live, it's quite difficult to discern sometimes because there are immense pressures on artists, commercial pressures, propaganda, art has become advertising, and most of the product that comes out of Hollywood and, you know, movie studios and other parts of the world is trash. It's an industry. Art is not an industry, and art should not be an industry. I resent the word, the arts industry. Now, arts is not, it should not be a factory to produce dollars. It should be driven by something else. And that's perhaps the dividing line between true art and art which is purely created for commercial purposes. And again, I hesitate to sound, you know, moralistic about this, because sometimes the lines cross, and I mean, sometimes people will produce something quite startling with purely commercial motives. It's never as simple as that, because artists have a living to earn, and there are pressures on them to earn their living in a commercially competitive field. And so, I mean, one doesn't want to be kind of simplistic about this, but I think there are moments when you can discern the true quality of art, which is sincere, and which often comes from the spiritual center of individuals. I mean, not necessarily actors. Actors are a little different in that they don't so much create works of art, although that's a difficult phrase as well, but they recreate. They're a bit like cuckoos. They take somebody else's work and they paint it in their own colors and portray, you know, a Hamlet or whatever. It's not as an original work, but as their interpretation of somebody's original works.
Let us, Shakespeare says, ciphers to this great account, figures, numbers, parts, agents in this great account. Allow us, let us work on your imaginary forces. Shakespeare, the towering genius, the master storyteller, appeals to his audience to join with him in a great adventure, the ultimate, the infinite voyage of the human imagination. And it reminds me always, that speech from Henry V, that the actor, singer or dancer and their audience, the musician and the listener, the painter and the viewer, or the writer and their readers are all participants, partners, if you like, in that journey of the human spirit. And it has to be down a two-way street, that journey, since the wish, the desire of the artist is always to communicate his work to an audience, to others. And that in turn requires a willingness, an openness on the part of the recipient. I remember years ago hearing an interview with the jazz musician Miles Davis, and one of Miles's fans said to him, you were playing so well last night, man." And Miles said, "Oh, thank you very much, but maybe you were listening well too." And I've never forgotten that.